All right, we is now streaming. We is live. We is on the
All right.
air.
Indeed. Peace and greetings to y'all. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Brother Hasan Ghazi Obey here in Morocco at Northwestern Mexico. How are you? Guys, I'm here with our magnificent and beloved brother, whom we're well pleased, Brother Sean Lee Mel. And we'd like to welcome you all to our 7-day Tropic Medical Astro Weather Report for the dates the 1st through the 7th February 2024. All right. So, without further ado, we're just going to cut right to the chase, get right to it, knock this thing out. Guys, as always, remember, make sure you donate to us, right? As Brother Sean just said before we get live, we are the most watched, the most secretly watched, you know what I mean, by tons of people. However, I know it's just funny because one of our older mothers was like, your views that you're really getting aren't really reflecting, you know what I mean? And that's just probably a part of actual shadow banning, or maybe that's just some conspiracy theory and people really aren't watching. But we see how much we influence people's language and have been doing so over the past 10 years. To the point where when it was just elders using certain language, people were just like, oh man, that's so deep, I gotta learn. But they see someone as youthful as us using, the right words to speak and speaking the right words to speak. Now everyone is, you know, speaking as we do, but it's all good. We're not knocking it. What we're here for to effectuate change. However, at the same time, let's be clear, there are some things that could really make our overall global community be so much better. However, in short, what we can say is make sure you're scheduling your sessions with us, right? Mirror AstroLiteracy session and getting your mental magician reports. With that being said, and make sure you donate. All right, stuff is in the description as far as our cash apps. Send to the cash apps respectively, or if you send to just one, just leave a note. Hey, split this with your bro. All right. So with that being said, let us go to our calendar. So here is our 7HealStar Astro calendar from March Aries 2023 to February Pisces 2024. Time never was when man was not, quote unquote, and we're quoting El Hajj Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, doing religious corporate activity via affidavit, being Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And now we are here, guys, right? For the month that has, the air sign Aquarius, right? Water bearer, anciently ruled by Saturn, contemporarily co-ruled by Uranus. And then you have Neptune there. Neptune and Jupiter, who are co-ruling. Anciently it's Jupiter, but contemporarily it's Neptune, ruling the water sign Pisces, the fish. All right. And guys, if you ever hear in the background, I just want to mention this too, because on the when we went in on Cat Williams' natal chart, but did that short video about 4 minutes and 32 seconds, some Albion daughter had, with the Moorish mark, of course, though. And what I mean by that, dark hair, dark, eyes, right? Brunette type, whatever, dark brown, right? And she had commented, she was like, what is that horrible noise in the background? It's a shame I might not ever watch you guys again because it sounds like you guys are really good at what you're doing. That's what she said in the comments. So I was just like, oh, that's just my laptop computer fan, right? We look forward to you donating. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't control when it's going down. I can't control it when it wants to do that. It's attempting to, I guess, keep itself cool or whatever. But it's not like we're getting, support in the way that we can do more than just make sure we have, food and hygienical stuff. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I gotta, the way we're supported is just enough to eat, do laundry, and take care of other hygiene. That's about it. You know what I'm saying? Which means and we provide a lot. We have so much that we provide, and it's not like we've been doing things for under like so just starting with me, like again, like I told you guys, I'm now within my 10th year pertaining to studying and sharing this information. I think it's going on now 8 years now, as far as sharing the information, you know. And so about 2 years and 3 months of studying before I, you know, started, you know, presenting on the well, really it's a little more than 8 years actually, about 8.5 years of presenting on the internet, started with Facebook. And you know, there are many people who I haven't really seen really last that long because there's obviously some other whatever, you know, with them. So I'm just thinking like, guys, like, you don't want to hear the fan in the background, cool. You don't listen to us or come and check out our YouTube, cool. That's fine. I mean, it doesn't stop us from being actually the best astrologers in the galaxy, let alone on this planet. And I'm not making that up. That's just real. You know what I'm saying? Because this is our stuff. You know what I mean? It just is. You know, and you have other people who are enthused with it. You know, and so they attempt to teach their classes and things and do workshops or whatever. But 7HealStar has always been the best at this because we're in complete harmony with it, right? Being Moorish American, we're not just some Negro black colored guys who like, ooh, it's never been Negro black colored in my life ever. My fez may be black, but not me. Yeah, my Moorish Sharif's fez may be black, but not me, you know. So with that being said, guys, we're here for the first, right? For Thursday, 1st February, 2023. And starting us out will be Brother Sean Lee Mel, and he'll go in on that sunrise and those transits there. As you can see, there's an 11-hour and 34-minute void of course moon that's taking place also, guys. I know we're seeing it, right? So with that being said, with that void of course, oh, and Brother Sean, when's Ekadashi? I know we're coming up on it. Isn't there an Ekadashi brewing?
Definitely. So let me see.
Or are
I was just
we
thinking that the other night.
And we might have passed it. We might have passed the Shukla Paksha Ekadashi. But Brother Sean's going in on that one. Yeah.
February 4th.
It was on the Ekadashi is on the 4th?
The last one that just passed was January 20th. Yeah, that's Saturday.
Okay, so yeah, because it's about that sounds about right.
Yeah, like on Sunday.
14, 15 days away.
Shatila Ekadashi. Looks like Shatila.
Got you. So Ekadashi is on the 4th February. So I guess, you know, we'll be getting there soon, right? I think that's a date that I'm actually dispositive for. That sounds like it's Sunday. So Brother Sean will go in on those two transits, and that Luna ingress into Scorpio. And Scorpio is ingressing, Luna is ingressing Scorpio after being void of course for 11 hours and 34 minutes. So he would like to make no major transactions between 4:03 anti-meridian Eastern, which is 0400 hours and 3 minutes Eastern, and 1500 hours 37 minutes Eastern, which is 3:37 post-meridian Eastern. You don't want to make any major transactions during those times. Make no final decisions. Also, for Friday, it is I, Brother Hasan Ghazi Obey, going in on this holy day here for the second and the third quarter moon that's taking place there. Also, you said the Kaddish, really, bro?
The 5th. I just looked. Yeah, the 5th to the 6th.
Oh, okay, 5th to the 6th. Okay, got you. Yeah. So the 11th set of 12-degree transit after Purnima, which is the full moon in Hindi, Purnima. So is the Krishna Paksha, Ekadashi. All right. So I'll be going in on those five transits there. On the third, Brother Sean will Mel going on those four transits. And after his last transit, Moon will be void, of course, again for 3 hours and 4 minutes. Make no major transactions during that time. And then for the fourth, right, I am going in on that lunar ingressing Sagittarius just 28 minutes after 100 hours after that 3 hour and 4 minute void, of course. And then those two transits there, lunar sextile Pluto square Saturn. Then on the fifth, Brother Sean Lee Mel is going in, and it looks like Mercury is going to be in a sign that I think it does pretty well in. Mercury ingressing Aquarius. Brother Sean will go in on that after the sunrise. And it's doing that 10 minutes after midnight, right? So 10 minutes after 10 minutes after 100 hours. Mercury ingresses Aquarius. And then Brother Sean has those two transits there, the solar lunar sextile, as well as the Mercurial Plutonian conjunction. For the sixth, it is I, Brother Hasan Ghazi Obey, will go in on those four transits, as well as, which would make it five, but this lunar ingress into Capricorn. Alrighty, after 7 hour and 2 minute void, of course. So you guys want to make no major transactions between 100 hours and 6 minutes, or 12:06 anti-meridian Eastern, to 0700 hours 8 minutes, or 7:08 anti-meridian Eastern. So make no major transactions for those 7 hours and 2 minutes. And closing out for the seventh, it is Brother Sean now. He will be going in on those four transits there to close us out. And we'll just, you guys, if you missed the Intuition Moon Day, right, we'll be going in on, if you go back and look at it, you will see that we have gone in on Oprah Winfrey, right? And you will enjoy that. I know we already went in on the new moon also. Yeah, that is the last one, isn't it? Full. And then we won't see it again. So I got to make then the new calendar. So yeah, because Brother Sean, I know we're also going in this cycle on a few things. I just probably need to double check the new moon in Pisces when that takes place. I know we're doing the full moon in Virgo. I got to check to see when that new moon in Pisces is taking place. It must be within the March, calendar of 2024. Is what I'm thinking.
Indeed, I know the first Intuition Monday will be Mars ingress Aquarius, and then it's the Sun ingress Pisces.
Correct.
Then the Virgo full moon after that.
Correct. And then I think we're doing some other celebrity, I think, after that.
I got Steve Jobs.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So I guess we'll rock with that unless I want to change it, but I kind of just been leaving it be, I was like, whatever I was on in June, it's like Steve Jobs. So that'll probably be interesting to see.
All righty. Indeed. So I'm going to go on screen share here, right? And let us do with that. And I'm going to yield the floor to our beloved brother in a little while, please, Brother Sean Alim El Islam.
All right, so we are fit, and you already gave me the remote control. So let's see, you already at 17. So I already know we're past.
You know what? I remember, because we was looking at something.
Something else,
yeah. Looking at what it is they're calling it a station, and we're like, okay, software, on the calendar. We'll see. All right, let's take this back to the first. That was 5 days in the future from the first. All righty, bro. I yield. Islam.
All right, so looks we're at 12 degrees Aquarius. So right, we know the sun's ruling over the houses, that I usually like to skip, the opposite house, Leo.
Stop it, man.
But yeah, 12 degrees Pisces. This is just 12 degrees Aquarius, which is a Piscean degree. All right. This is maybe just having some actualizations come to you when you rise this morning or throughout the day. Maybe deciding to connect more to your religious and divine nature. Or maybe something disappears and maybe you find it, for that matter. Or just, doing some research, right? Either or. Um, just enjoy yourself and really just surrender to the unknown, right? Put your mind and emotions out of context and just surrender to the unknown, as they like to say. With that, yeah, fine. I yield the floor. Oh, there it is under the cover. Looks like first up we have a Luna Mercurian square. All right, Luna's in the 10th, 24 degrees, 12 minutes Libra. Mercury's 24 degrees, 12 minutes Capricorn. So this for this here, this is balancing self-care and any career challenges via your thinking and your health. So maybe listen to some classical music, might seem soothing, or some jazz, or even, listening to your favorite songs without the lyrics, without all the killing, cussing, hoeing, tricking, all those things, and just like just vibing to the instrumentals and not letting music dictate your values because that's what one thinks that everyone else values. So, um, just find balance and stimulation and doing the self-care. And with that, I yield the floor. Ooh, let's see, was that the oh yeah. Let me catch up with you on the calendar that. So that moon is going to be void, of course, for that 11 hours and 34 minutes. And Moon is going to ingress Scorpio. She's in her fall, but got some accidental dignity, being in Scorpio and in the fourth house. So just family and your inner self, foundations that transform the current the current values and system. So, opportunity to really look deep within yourself and find some hidden gems, maybe within your ancestry or your lineage. And now you can bring that to the forefront and allow that stuff to change the outer because you went in and changed the inner. Um, it's best to know thyself and the things that are seen and unseen, rather than just going through life with no direction, kind of like a bottle in the ocean, just floating, never no direction. And finally, maybe the people could be feeling motivated to get healthy physically and mentally, and also emotionally. Right, you look at Mars ruling over that ingress. Mars is in the sixth. So yeah, this is maybe involving a partner or your partner getting involved, and now you're excited because you finally did it, or you're just motivating yourself. But either or. With that, I yield the floor. Looks like we got a lunar square Pluto next. All right, this will be the last aspect for Thursday. Thursday. All right. Yeah, Luna's still kicking in the fourth. And Pluto is in the sixth. Definitely hugging that seventh house cusp again. All right, so this is intense feelings and possibly passionate emotions are coming to the forefront. Challenges between how one views himself and how they express their home life and the health of your loved ones and your daily job. It's just best to find stimulation and healthy outlets to release pent up energy, whether that's physical or emotional, so that actually goes into a healthy place, rather than just doing things that aren't, a good way to release energy, right? We don't even have to say it, you most likely already know, how that goes. So, um, just finding ways to direct your excitedness and your energy into a positive outlet rather than being ruled by your own ego and animal life. And with that, I yield the floor. Islam.
Islam. All right. So before we get there, I see we had a few people in the chat. Seems like it's about 5 of you guys viewing now.
Shout
Devon,
out Derek Blash, Mother Janelle.
indeed.
Who else
Mother
usually comes in there?
Safar.
Mother Sahar, yep.
There's an account that says Devon Bay. They say Islamism nobles. Been in attendance. Indeed. Gratitude. Devon Bay. Brother Derek Blash Bay says, peaceful greetings, everyone. Devon Bay also left a comment, says that he thinks he's asked this question before, but he's asking, do we recommend original natal versus the modern? I gotta admit, my mind just knows they're one sky and time never was when man was not. So wherever you're standing at that time of an event or someone manifesting from their mother's womb, it's just a matter of analyzing, where the planets are from that particular longitude or latitude. I've, us being the astrologers that we are, internationally certified professional astrologers, after just showing ourselves approved within our own Moorish community. I've actually seen, like, I haven't found a system of astrology that does not work. So I've been in astrological workshops with other alleged professional astrologers, and they swear to just use porphyry house system. There are some people who are like, I just do whole sign house system. There are some people who's like, I know I was, quote unquote, born here on this land, but I only like sidereal astrology. And so what we do is we look at multiple systems, multiple alleged branches of astrology, but there's only one sky. It's really only one sky. The houses will be based on where one is observing said sky and at what time. Because his question says, "But do you recommend original natal versus modern when one wants to truly learn or share more of the knowledge of the original zodiac?" The thing about it is to, when we're talking about what the original zodiac is, time never was when man was not. I'm pretty sure the way we're doing astrology now has a semblance of what Vedic Valens was doing in the 2nd century. But the way that astrology is being done now, not too many people even know, let alone actually fully comprehend what Vedic Valens was doing in the 2nd century. You know what I'm saying? So the way that Vedic Valens did astrology in the 2nd century and the way we do astrology now, like we're not, saying in the year of Biden or in Biden year 4, we don't analyze the calendar like that. Whereas back then, within what they call Alexandria, Vedic Valens, the year was based on the rulership of some ruler. So they could be like in the year of Hadrian, or Hadrian year 4 on Phaelphi 16. You're like, what's Phaelphi? Well, Phaelphi is a part of the Egyptian Alexandrian calendar. How many people are really going to do astrology according to the year, the number year of some alleged ruler, right? I'm not saying Biden is a ruler. I'm just saying that, to put in mind of like a commercialized mindset, I'm telling you, most people don't even, and the people who are allegedly our professional astrological colleagues, they don't even comprehend what I'm saying right now. And these are allegedly, multi-million-dollar astrologers. So I would say just pick something basic where you can start and see what happens, in studying self. The best way to get a grasp of astrology, at least so that you can comprehend interpretation and get interpretation, is to schedule a mirror session. You will not be disappointed. You need to get your mirror session and a mental magician report, because what it is that we provide is a foundation for proper astrological analysis within mind our ancient foremothers and forefathers mindset, especially according to our zodiac constitution. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it, right? So that's just kind of how it is there. Mother Sahar says peaceful greetings to everyone. Peaceful greetings to you, Mother Sahar. Divine Bay says Islam, give thanks for your answer. Indeed, being where, as you explain, I'm understanding what you're saying. Yeah, indeed. Gratitude, Divine. Because when I'm thinking, like I know, it's a heavy commercialization of astrology, and I'm even thinking like our approach. Like if you go back and look at our Intuition Monday on Oprah and how we went into it, it's not too many people that's comprehending where we're coming from in our analysis. Just for me to be like, yeah, let's analyze the sect, and then like sect, I've never heard of that. Most people just talk about their sun sign, and it's like, well, that's in the commercialized world pertaining to astrology. But me, the first thing I'm going to analyze in the chart, 9 times out of 10, if I'm using the quote unquote traditional and or Hellenistic mindset, then I want to analyze sect. I'm going to, possibly approach it as best I can, because even when you analyze Vedi's Valens in the 2nd century is referring to ancient astrologers before him. So if it's 2nd century AD, he's referring to astrologers, 200 years or more before him. So that would be in what is alleged as BC times. So who knows, exactly what the original celestial plates were back then, how they observed constellations as being aligned with the earth-based astrological signs, which are absolutely two different things, but one isn't better than the other. So that's why even when I come across, when people like, oh, sidereal or tropic, I'm like, I don't know, pick one. Do you want to, do you like your body more or your soul? You know what I'm saying? And because that's how I look at those two different alleged systems of astrology. One's the physical, one's the soul. And when you can analyze both, you get a clear picture. There's another kind of astrology for the spirit. And that's what we focus on. We focus on the astrology pertaining to spirit, body, spirit, soul, and body. So that's just kind of how I'm, answering that, because we have a lot to share, but it's not a lot. You know what I'm saying? I will say that we have a plethora pertaining to the knowledge base when it comes to astrology. Like 7HealStar has a lot. I mean, you can just kind of see what some of our knowledge is just based on the books we have in our astrology library within Prophet Noble Drew University, which is still freely given. People are given access to that freely. I trust I answered your question. You said greatly explained. Yeah, indeed. I appreciate your compliments, and I trust that I answered not just your question, but maybe even given some insight to others, that may have similar questions. Like, I'm telling you, schedule your session. You will not be disappointed, because you will get. I make sure people can at least learn how to approach and read their astrology in 3 hours in that kind of a session. And I am now to the point where I'm, at first I was like, you don't ever have to come back to me. But now I am, on average, I'm just like, look, come back to me in 3 months. And if you want to come sooner than that, you can. But I'm recommending that people see me 4 times a year, because I know in 1 year I can give you 4 different mirror sessions that you'll be looking at it like, no one's doing astrology like 7HealStar. That's what you're gonna see in the first session. You're gonna be like, hold on, man. I done seen sisters with their hair wrapped but still want to show their boobies out, and they're not analyzing this, and they're talking about magic and the ancient astrological knowledge, and you don't have to be certified to be an astrologer. And then you're gonna realize what we know, and you're gonna be like, hold on, yo. Not only is this simple, but it's actually very thorough and makes sense that it looks like that, because any real true astrologer, you have to know the history. And a lot of people in these days and times, when you're going back to the 2nd century, if you're not going back to Netshepso and Petasiris, who is, to me, I kind of was thinking it's before Vedius Valens, but I got to really double check that to see what it is, because Vedius Valens is 2nd century. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting. You said, like, you told them their life. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've come across other Moorish astrologers and utilize certain techniques to show them, you got some sisters out here, right, on the West Coast, and they're supposed to be like some super wise astrologer or something. And I just, hey, look, check this out. Let me, express this technique. And they was like, I would have never thought to do astrology like that. And I said, that's why I do what I do. You know what I'm saying? Because I comprehend that what we're bringing is not what's popular, even though, our Albion sons and daughters are exercising these things, when actually the only ones, according to Clock and Destiny Book 1 in the conclusion, the only ones actually qualified to teach astrology are, I think it's the copper tone Moors, honestly. Even though we're all Moors, copper tone and pale skin, I think the only ones that are actually qualified are those with the olive tone skin. I think there's a connection there. I'm not saying we're better. I'm just saying, we're first. That's it. We're the first ones to be able to really share this how it needs to be shared, because I know the history, which we'll go in more on Clock of Destiny Book 2 when it comes to Friday. All righty. Sunrise is taking place at 17 minutes and 32 seconds at 00 hours for the 2nd February 2024. And the sun is at 13 degrees Aquarius. Speaking of, knowledgeable, and, here's a reference why, that we consider at times. So what's 13 degrees Aquarius, right? Is there anything there? Well, looky, Astro Cookie. It's a degree of acting, it looks like. Oh, is it? Hold on. Hold on. Let me go to Aquarius. Oh, hold on. I went past it. 2 seconds. Make sure I'm the degree of beauty and literature. Is that it? Let's see. Yeah, that's Pisces. So beauty and literature. What's very interesting too, if I just move that. Oh, okay, that's 13, 14. So that's at about 14 degrees. This dorsum, right? Which I think is that theta? Is that theta Capricorni? Bites from venomous creatures. Let's see. Did I get that right? Is that theta? I did get that right. It is theta. Boom, boom, boom. All right, look at me. Remembering the Greek alphabet. Yay. Right. So just taking a look at that. Right. But that's obviously at 14 degrees. It's past this, but Brother Sean goes in on the next sunrise. 9 times out of 10, dorsum will be at approximately 14 degrees, maybe 10 minutes, 14 degrees, 10 minutes, precessed, right? Speaking about, because that's according to the precession of the equinox formula. But when it comes to beauty and literature, right, that's what this day is dealing with. It's interesting. The sun at beauty and literature. It may be tied to something, some type of, leading, relationship or leading contract, right? So maybe beauty and literature pertaining to, maybe people will be reviewing their matrimonial videos and photo albums and things of that nature, or looking at the pictures pertaining to something that they initiated in partnership. Maybe it's something too where it was a first of a child or something. Maybe a child graduated from kindergarten and went to first grade, and you're just probably finding some books or old homework of that child or different projects, and you're just reminiscing pertaining to that. And with that, I yield the floor. Devon Bay says original, all right, with the questionable I don't know shrug, right? Brother Donnell says Islamism, family, love, and peace, honors to the prophet and all honorable Moors. Indeed, Donnell. All right, peaceful greetings and Islam to you also. All right. So now what we're looking at for the next transit happening before sunrise, it is a lunar Saturnian trine. So there's some harmony between two celestial bodies who rule signs that are 180 from each other. We know that the moon there at 6 degrees Scorpio, 36 minutes within the 10th house, rules over Cancer, which is intercepted within this Regiomontanus, this tropical Regiomontanus house chart, right? So it's co-ruling the 7th house, the moon, with Mercury, actually, which, you know, would give us a little insight of what's going on in relationships too, in terms of one's status and one's, you know, self-starting, self-beginning thing. So even that alone, you know, one could be thinking about couples starting a business or couples going into business together, as far as just the moon's position and analyzing that the moon's position is there pertaining to work, status, and self-beginnings, being in harmony with Mercury there in the first house, ruling over the 7th. However, also, when looking at it being trine with Saturn there in the second house, bringing about an idea of one structuring their finances for their daily routine, maybe thinking of a budget and bringing that to light, as far as Saturn there at 6 degrees, 36 minutes Pisces. And these houses are 5 houses away from each other. So there's some creativity and self-expression that's taking place with a coupled self-beginning here. And I think this is where ones will probably, you know, write out a plan and do their best to figure out a way of executing things for the benefit of structuring not only themselves and their thoughts, but to be able to work together as a couple in a quote unquote business venture. With that, I will yield the floor. It's very interesting, though, you know, how Saturn's co-ruling the first house. So there's some co-rulership with Saturn and Jupiter over that Mercury, right? Jupiter there in the 4th just really speaks to home business even more. Now we're looking at this Mercurial Neptunian sextile. Some growth and opportunity that's there, right? With Mercury and Neptune. Mercury there at 25 degrees Capricorn, 49 minutes. Neptune is there at 25 degrees, 49 minutes in Pisces. They're respectively within the first and second houses, right? And again, we know that Mercury here would be ruling down the 5th house, as well as ruling over the 8th house in co-rulership with the sun. So that's interesting how both of them are in the 5th. I mean, in the 1st house, co-ruling for the 8th, while Mercury is also ruling over the 6th. So there could be just that alone. There's some communication that's being brought to light in terms of people's everyday work and how they're relating and completing tasks or getting certain obligations completed. And while Mercury is doing that type of dispositing, it is their sextile with Neptune in the second house. So now it's bringing forth how one is, you know, maybe finding a way to, you know, possess a way to kind of, you know, institute some spiritual type of mindset and or affairs when it actually comes to being able to communicate and review that which is dealing with one's daily routine, as well as the affairs of shared energy, right? Maybe even shared finances of some sort, and doing one's best to kind of get over the fascination and denial of, you know, some knowledge that may be foreign to them, but, you know, it will behoove them to learn. So maybe even here, this might be an energy where people may be taking a class. Maybe you have signed up for some secondary quote unquote college studies. or maybe you've become or you contemplating and you're ready to move forward with becoming a member of the Universally Professional Astrology Community, TUPAC. All right. So, with that being said, I yield the floor. Next, we have Luna reflecting Jupiter. All right. So, there's a 180-degree aspect between Luna and Jupiter. This is taking place. I think we jumped a little forward, but it's all good. And this is taking place at about 0600 hours, 17 minutes. All righty, in 3 seconds. And Luna is there in the sun's joy while Jupiter is in the moon's joy. So respectively, they're in the 9th and 3rd houses. And so what I say here is, maybe there are some nostalgia that's going on. Maybe the family is traveling, going somewhere as far as moving. And maybe it's in the travel, maybe it's an actual move. However, what I think what is actually happening there is a means to look for a larger space, maybe a larger community, maybe neighborhood, and really being able to do something to maybe find some balance or bring balance to the family, because there has been some enlargement or growth within the family, and it may take ones to actually maybe move far away from a neighborhood that they really have learned everything in, really have some valuable relationships or friendships there. However, in order to find some further balance and expand and allow one's development and early childhood development, maybe there's a new addition to the family. There's going to be a move that takes place, and very interestingly, Mars and Venus, they're in a 12th house, are ruling over this. So this also brings the idea of some form of closure, right? Where it may be some beauty that can't be seen now. So maybe a few people are part of this particular group of people or family, or even when it comes to expanding one's possessions, maybe there's some, means of not actually seeing the benefit, while also at the same time doing their best to, learn how to get along with this new move and or travel. And with that, I yield the floor. Next, Luna and Venus are sextile. All righty. And Luna is there in the 4th house, having its accidental dignity again, while at 13 degrees Scorpio 1 minute. 13 degrees is an Aryan degree, while under the dispositorship of Mars, of course, they're in the 6th house under Saturn's dispositorship. But Mars is exalted, of course. It's doing great. It's about 5 degrees, 55 minutes away from its exaltation degree. So I think here is where we actually are enjoying our, daily routine, really being in a flow of the daily routine, structuring ourselves and our day based on some exercise that's taking place, which will then allow our subconscious mind to be able to spearhead and charge forward in, finding some growth opportunities, so to speak, with, the beauty in one's self-expression. So with that being said, one will actually find value in the structure of really doing so. And what will happen there is one will be able to thoroughly expand their status and finding balance in that expansion by not overindulging in maybe something that it is that they enjoy. So even with tuned in with the exercise, one may actually allow themselves to probably not enjoy some particular treat that they normally indulge in. However, instead of indulging in that treat, they found some healthy alternative that tastes, just as great, but they figured they will indulge in that also. So this is where we're being secure and making sure we're possessing something that really helps us to further find the beauty in our self-expression, while also making sure that we're doing so by actively structuring our daily routine and finding the beauty in that structure to help better facilitate our creative expression. And with that, I yield the floor. Finally, we have a solar lunar quartile, right? Sun square moon, and sun's there at 13 degrees, an Aryan degree, right? Again, maybe having a bit of some type of exaltation energy to it, even though it's exile, right? It's out of place, right? Because sun would be in place or feel that it fits in Leo, even though transiting Aquarius, not a bad thing. It's just a thing. So the what, which is the sun, one's personality, maybe one's ego, maybe also one's creative expression. Also, however, what that creative expression is doing is finding a way to pour out information to allow itself to be able to make sudden changes on the daily. And with those sudden changes, one will be able to thoroughly communicate, alrighty, thoroughly communicate to their own subconscious mind and really better their understanding in psychological makeup. So this is where someone actually is securing a firm mindset and comprehending psychology, whether on a larger scale as far as within the formal class or just being able to comprehend the psychology of those that one's worked with and being able to further secure protection for themselves by knowing what to say by really just observing the mindset of others that they're interacting with. And with that, I yield the floor to our beloved brother, whom will well please, Brother Sean Mel, Islam.
Islam, bro. Gratitude. Let me go ahead and hit. All right, the next button. All right, looks like you'll get to go in on the angel point on that Sunday. That's pretty cool. All right.
Bro, and it's funny too how the sun is very close to that Theta Capricorni, that fixed star Dorsa, which deals with bites from venomous animals. I think that's interesting that the sun is, they're only minutes apart, bro. I'm pretty sure, but I yield.
Indeed. Let's see. So look, it's still rolling over the 7th. Looks like so. Yeah, it looks like on this Saturday. Ooh, kind of like a good day to treat yourself, right? Maybe a good meal and a book. Maybe someone has a conversation with a bank employee. How to have certain accounts and things handled and done for without being a trusty agent. Self-incriminated themselves. Right, and Saturn's ruling at 6. I mean, at 6 degrees in the first. So yeah, it might be some things limiting to yourself. It might be some things that are okay, but it'll prove worthwhile in the long run. With that, I yield the floor. All right, so before sunrise, we have a lunar Uranian reflection. So get that. So yeah, Moon and Uranus. All right, blah 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 blah. There we go. Moon is in the 10th, Uranus is in the 4th. Right, so this is reflecting. When you think of 180 degrees, it's a reflection. So reflecting on the inside world and the changes that are occurring, what new energies are ready to come in and alleviate one from lower self, animal life, lifestyles, and actions. Right, so what was that, chapter 4 or 5, the unity of life? Talking about Elihu and Jesus, about the higher self, lower self, I think. You muted, bro.
I said, is it 3? Unity of life? Is it chapter? Because I think chapter 4 is Ministry of Death.
The Ministry of Death, yeah, it's either like 3 or 5.
Yeah, I think Unity might be 3, but you're good, bro.
Right. So yeah, that'll be a good chapter to read, check out. I'm all the way in the back.
Yes, Unity of Life is chapter 3, Elihu's lessons.
Right. So yeah, that'll be a good, lesson to read. And because most people they haven't really like looked within, so they're still blaming outer sources for things. So like I said, read chapter 3. That'd be a good one. Understanding one's own emotional needs rather than what others think you need or they would like you to have, and finding one's own values and standing firm on what you truly value. And with that, I yield the floor. Let's see. No, not 44th yet. All right, so we're moving on to a lunar Martian sextile. All right, Luna's in the 6th. Mars is in the 9th. All right, this is like I said, an opportunity to achieve longevity for emotional health that may be a mystery, or could be not having good mental health is a source of depression. Working with someone older for a public image boost and to also gain some wisdom, not only for yourself, but from others. Um, so yeah, allowing oneself to have some wisdom and knowledge about health and, you know, let's say, what's that saying? Health is wealth, right? So yeah, back to those things and, maybe even taking a little jog with your pets or, just doing something active. And with that, I yield the floor. Looks like next we got a lunar Neptunian trine. All right, so this is good like psychic activation energy or intuition boosting energy. Um, maybe feeling like you're just connected, or you'll say something on this day and or you'll be thinking it as someone else will say it, that telepathy type energy. And also just distinguishing your feelings and others' feelings due to a heightened sense of intuition, becoming more active with the messages that one is receiving in their dreams, and securing family treasures during this life, and also for the future generations to come. And with that, I yield the floor. All right, then finally, we've got a lunar Mercurian sextile, and this is the last aspect Luna's going to make, but it won't ingress until next day. All right, so Mercury there at 28 degrees Capricorn, Moon is at 28 degrees Scorpio. All right, this is in the 2nd and 4th houses. So finding value in one's roots by receiving some form of communication, whether it's from a foreign nation or culture, a historic institution, or from one's father or a father figure. The people could also be feeling motivated to connect to their lineage and ancestry, getting out of denial of ancestry here. Right. And it's really a good time during this fake Black History Month to actually do that. And, get out of the lies that people have been out of the hypnosis of the lies people have been under for a long time. Actually, I'm curious to know when they even started that. Maybe there's like some event and it's like, hey, let's start this and let's fool them even more. Let's give them the shortest month of the year. And they're actually celebrating the pale skins, and yeah, like I said, with Moon and Mercury, that's your thinking and communication, right? So, hey, you should join Tupac and you'll get a free workshop, our Moon Mercury Quit Thinking workshop to really see how one communicates their feelings and emotions and their thinking. Those are like two vital out of all the planets, whether you want to go 7 or 9. Let's see. And the public opinion of falsehood will start to be removed, but also highlighted. It's kind of like being fooled, being duped. So allow oneself to really just come in the truth, leave the alt alone. I mean, pardon me, leave the knots. Truth, leave the falsehood alone. And yeah, I think that's it for me. I yield the floor, bro. Moon will be void, of course. What was it, 8 hours, I think? No, 3 hours, 4 minutes.
Correct. 3 hours and 4 minutes. And that will be my first testimony after going over this sunrise. It's taking place at 15 degrees Aquarius, which is the angel point, right? Interesting because, we are TUPAC as far as the Universally Professional Astrology community. Like Tupac Shakur himself, if I'm not mistaken, his North Node is at 15 degrees Aquarius. So I wouldn't be surprised if more things about Tupac pop up, which is interesting too, because yesterday I was just kind of scrolling the shorts on YouTube and something popped up. I think it was a Drink Champs of Noriega asking Tretch about the picture with him, Tupac, and Faith Evans, and I was like, that's interesting. So already that energy is showing itself, as well as, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, you remember when we first started Tupac, and I don't even think it was a whole strong, what people call a week later, and they apparently got whoever murdered Tupac or whatever. Like, it wasn't even like a strong or two at the max before that had even happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you just see how
Yeah.
the energy moves.
Yeah, we are definitely connected in almost like a mediumship kind of way with people who have transitioned out of their physical bodies, but their energy, if it's still kind of present on the planet, we get visited by it in some way, shape, or form, or end up speaking on it because they're probably visit us, sit in the room with us at times. You know what I'm saying? And those things get spoken about, and there's no such thing as coincidence. However, I will also remember too that what I also saw too was something about someone explaining how Pimp C would not get on Big Pimpin' with Jay-Z unless the finances that Dame Dash had wrote a check for went to Afeni Shakur before he would even get on the record with Jay-Z. So again, Tupac energy popped up again. This was all last night, actually, too. And it's interesting because now it's not even a whole 24 hours. And speaking about the fact that Tupac's North Node is at 15 degrees Aquarius, actually. So that's where the sun is. So I really think that that's going to pop up for a lot of people. That energy, that Tupac energy is going to pop up often, right? And it's something else you're going to see. You know what I mean? People probably refer to Jada Pink or something like that. Yes, Mother Sahara, you're correct. It was chapter 3. That is absolutely correct. Right. So with the sun ruling here, right? The sun is actually co-ruling with Mercury over the 7th house. So this is where we can actually you know, that's funny, man. All that talking about what we were just talking about, and then I just had this air pressure change in the room and a tinnitus. So there's a ringing in my left ear. I'm telling you, man, I be getting visited, bro. Seriously. With the sun and Mercury, right, ruling over the 7th house, this would still kind of be technically, because if you actually see, if you look here where the sun is, if you look at the planetary sect, the sun is a diurnal planet, but the chart is nocturnal. So technically this would, even though this is a solar ascendant conjunction, the sun would still be considered to be in the 1st house while Mercury's in the 12th. So being able to really shine a light on oneself by thoroughly actually communicating some things that may appear to be hidden, unseen. So shining light on things that are hidden and unseen. And it's interesting, again, this is the North Node of Tupac where the sun is. Ones will be able to really relate the details in one's creativity and really not only relate to that, but see the actual fascination and denial in the details, as well as really finding purpose in some information that was once hidden or seemingly foreign. So I feel that that's going to pop up, or that's a theme for that particular day. All right. With that, I yield the floor. And next, of course, after its 3-hour and 4-minute void, of course, Luna is ingressing Sagittarius at about 0100 hours, 27 minutes and 46 seconds to be exact, 127:46 anti-meridian Eastern. And Luna is ingressing Sagittarius there in the 1st house, however, still under the dispositorship of Mars, exalted in Capricorn, there in the 2nd house where Mars is. So this is where one can, actively structure their finances by really finding a way to kind of take hold of some foreign concepts. Alrighty, and it'll be, foreign concepts within one's own thinking. You may have came across some things, wanted to do some things before, but you just thought to yourself, "Oh, that's interesting. I got to get into that one day." However, this particular ingress here will allow you to further embrace what is seemingly foreign and be able to actually move forward in making those sudden changes necessary and actively structuring your values and your finances so that your subconscious mind can actually fully take on a travel, if not physical, a long distance travel from one type of thinking to another mode of thinking, so that you can be able to embrace even probably studying some concepts of interest that you've never actually taken the time to study. And with that, I yield the floor. At about 19 minutes after 0200 hours, there's a lunar Plutonian sextile, and this is exactly taking place at 2:19:08 anti-meridian Eastern, and Luna's there in the 12th house, alrighty, still under the dispositorship of Mars there in the second, and we see Pluto is also they're in the second house with Mars, however, under the dispositorship of Jupiter and Saturn. So, this is where you can, kind of, expand those creative values by being able to find the details necessary that you would like to communicate, especially pertaining to spiritual discipline. So you want to expand those spiritual discipline values and find a way of expressing it. You can do so by probably isolating yourself and further getting some closure and spreading your wisdom by going off into your own studies. Maybe even doing meditation, you may get an Akashic download. Or maybe at this time, you may be resting and recharging, and there may be a dream that pertains to the same. And with that, I yield the floor. We see Luna is quartiling Saturn. So there's a lunar Saturnian quartile here. So Moon square Saturn is taking place about 9 minutes after 1400 hours, and to be exact, 1400 hours, 9 minutes and 27 seconds, or 2:09:27 anti-meridian, post meridian Eastern. Luna's there in the 6th house, already at 6 degrees Sagittarius, 53 minutes, and Saturn, of course, in Pisces, they're in the 9th house, all right, he's 4 houses away, and Saturn's at 6 degrees Pisces, 53 minutes. So the man 4 houses away, there's this underlying energy pertaining to securing one's property. And being able to secure one's property there is obviously something connected to one's job, right? And restrictions. I just got an image in my head of maybe there you go to work somewhere and there's a different quote unquote parking policy, and you're trying to deal with that quote unquote parking policy, even though 9 times out of 10 people don't really qualify for that highway safety, act. You really don't qualify, especially if you're not actually doing, actual commerce under the Secretary of Commerce, doing trade or business at the pleasure of the governor, which is performing functions of public office under the business license called the driver's license. 9 times out of 10, a lot of people have those things just out of fear, under threat of duress and coercion, because they don't want to be inconvenienced by policy enforcers who are just the gangs of New York, expanded with their titty metal and uniforms and their pistol on their hips. So get it. So this is where one may actually, deal with just the occupation of dealing with some type of parking rules or change in the parking, so to speak. And if it's dealing with your land conveyance being towed at work, I trust that you can actually look ahead and maybe prevent that, since this isn't taking place till the 4th of February 2024. And with that, I yield the floor to Brother Sean Ali Mel as he goes in. And you said the Ekadashi starts the 5th and ends the 6th, right?
Correct. I gotta get out the way at 5:54 a.m. February 5th Central, and ends 4:37 anti-meridian February 6th Central.
So adjusting the time zone accordingly to Eastern, that was 6:54, right? And 5:34 Eastern? Did I hear that correctly?
5:37.
5:37 Eastern. Okay, absolutely. So you guys can just adjust your time zones, adjust the Ekadashi observance where you are according to your time zones accordingly. And the importance of the Ekadashi fast is to, fast from eating grain if you can, from during that time. Just allow yourself to do any fruits and vegetables and other food that are not a grain. All right, you'll thank yourself on the 6th after 5:37 anti-meridian Eastern or 4:37 Central. All right, I yield the floor, bro. Islam.
Islam. All right. So yeah, we got the sun here, conjunct the ascendant, ruling the 7th, as Brother Sign said, in cahoots with Mercury. And I'm just getting that people are gonna start finding out or start being more interested in looking at the Aboriginal names of these continents and countries or nations, quote unquote. Like Africa being originally Alkebulan, right? So once again, once you go back to Alkebulan, then people will realize that Africa is made up and named after someone who, did some conquering after we fell so that they can't be African American. So people have to really come back to their homeland and their origin, and this is by study. You know, um, losing faith in the public schooling system, and now bringing forth to fruition the actual knowledge of our ancestors and things that have been recorded that has been kept hidden. Right when you get into the clock of destiny and you start seeing how things started shifting around that 1863 mark. So really doing some history and lineage search um, to change your awareness and consciousness of things so that now one can progress and move forward and be more love instead of hate, right? Because with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice and the knowledge comes love, but with misinformation comes hate and ignorance and fear and all those things that are manifestations of the lower self. So allowing oneself to restrict those things that aren't of service and which now will bring a new energy or radical change to your mind and thinking. And with that, I yield the floor. Yep. Looks like we got that Mercury ingress into Aquarius. Yay! That's actually gonna be interesting from when Mercury goes, and probably Mars, the next Venus, all ingress into Aquarius and conjunction Pluto. It's gonna be an interesting time for that. But Mercury is doing this ingress in the third house, right? Even though it looks like it's in the fourth, that's definitely in the third. So it's some accidental dignity. And we know that Mercury is exalted in Virgo, but there is some who like to attribute to Mercury being exalted in Aquarius, right? However one decides to look at it. But moving forward, mental restlessness stimulated by taking short trips, maybe just around the city, quote unquote, to the museum or even visiting your local library, teaching or being taught by one's siblings via the internet for a transformation of the family bond. Um, Others could be advertising and marketing more humanitarian values, right? Instead of always being for profit, how a lot of people are, regardless of whether they're making uh, their fellow, mother, son, brother, daughter, labor a commodity, actually doing something humanitarian for once, right? And the daily comings and goings of rumors via the internet and friend groups, or just exchanging ideas locally and globally here. This is for like a global change. But first it starts within oneself, then it moves to your immediate environment, and then it goes to the collective environment. So just allowing those changes and being more curious about information, um, for that matter. With that, I yield the floor. Well, looks like next up we have a solar lunar sextile. Right, sun's in the first, 16 degrees Aquarius, 10 minutes. Moon is at 16 degrees Sag, 10 minutes. So just a growth opportunity for becoming and being consciously aware of oneself and one's life purpose. and the optimistic feelings we have about our careers and things we plan for the long term. Others could be having a new profound sense about one's hometown and also the human race, quote unquote, discovering foreign treasures or a family collection. Um, that was it for that. So yeah, with that I yield. Um, it's like the last aspect is that Mercury Pluto conjunction. All right, so Mercury's in the 12th. Well, yeah, Mercury and Pluto's in the 12th, 0 degrees Aquarius. All right.
Where are you from?
So oh yeah, good. Mercury, Pluto, so powerful communication that are transformative for the aunts and uncles on the mother side. So that'd be interesting. People might be, talking to their aunts and uncles more on the mother side. Maybe some message or kind of transformation comes through. Looking within and having conversations that allow one to achieve freedom from mental bondage and out of control conditions that limit and restrict things that are out of one's control. Deep, impactful conversations rather than meaningless surface level chit chat and drama. And with that, I yield, bro, to you. To you.
Islam. Now I'm going in on the 6th. Sunrise is taking place at 0700 hours, 13 minutes, and 34 seconds. At 17 degrees Aquarius, 11 minutes. 17 degrees is a Leonian degree. You subtract 12 from 17, it gets you 5, pertaining to the 5th sign Leo. So even it just seems like, again, it has a bit of dignity there, just at that particular degree when considering the degree theory. However, again, in co-dispositorship with Mercury here, this is where we can really, shine some light on, possibly beginning conversations with inside ourselves, and further getting over the fascination and denial of something that we really need to take head on, so that we can better find, discipline in our own inner leadership, which will allow us to help to better relate our conscious mind with our subconscious mind, which will reflect outwardly throughout that day with those that we interact with. And with that, I yield the floor. 6 minutes after 0000 hours, right, which is midnight, Moon is making its final aspect before ingressing Capricorn. It's making its final aspect within Sagittarius, squaring Neptune. So Luna's there at 25 degrees Sagittarius, 56 minutes in the 2nd house. Neptune's there at 25 degrees, 56 minutes in the 5th. These houses are 4 houses away. So again, there's this energy pertaining to family, treasure, as well as proper security and property. So maybe when it comes to a safe, right? Maybe the family safe, right? Some place to institute some things that are very valuable. Maybe it's some gold and silver, so to speak, kind of energy that you're finding a means to make sure it has been placed away, because this could have been some type of jewel, or it could be some type of documentation of some sort, or this could also be dealing with people that are, unjustly incarcerated, being able to finally express themselves by being able to utilize that which they've studied in order to bring about a means of, having the heads of these foreign entities and institutions be able to consider, freeing them from that unjust incarceration, because we know that people that are only supposed to be dealing with incarceration are those that are considered federal, state, and local employees per their contracts, oath of office, right, and separately certified autograph statement, right, which is all pertaining to their contract to fulfill the obligations of some particular office. With this also, it kind of just lets me know too that you guys may find some values in reviewing in a creative fashion and self-express how one can comprehend Trading with the Enemies Act within Title 50 of the United States Code, so that you can see even more how things do not absolutely pertain to you. And being prisoners of war could be something also that one could actually further comprehend with this particular energy. All right. Luna's void, of course, about 7 hours and 2 minutes, right? So make no major transactions between 6 minutes after midnight until 8 minutes after 7 a.m. Eastern. Adjust your time zones accordingly. And Luna will ingress Capricorn at about 0700 hours, 8 minutes and 22 seconds to be exact. It's taking place there in the 11th house under the dispositorship of a third house Jupiter. So here again, further expanding the balance to, some valuable communication. And that communication will definitely allow one to really express their subconscious mind, and that sudden changes that can be made in sharing with, the group, maybe some concepts. Maybe the group is, a collective of some type of board, so to speak. Maybe it's pertaining to those that really are the ones that are valued within some type of governmental structure, and being able to fortunately and thoroughly express that which really secures their position, which, seeking a record or knowledge poured out how one is subject to such structuring. I think Jupiter will help to bring the balance and justice, and Venus there in the 12th house, accidental dignity there in the 12th, will further help that self-expression by allowing ones to really beautify, the true governing pertaining to said structures, so that we can continue facilitating this into being prisoners of war by bank-owned governing corporations. And with that, I yield the floor. Now, if we went back to sunrise, we could have. That's what I was saying, Brother Sean. That next one could be like a sunrise type of energy, right? But we know that it spoke about the station, and I don't think there was a, we know that Jupiter actually went direct 30th December. I think that was 2140, and it did it at 5 degrees 35 minutes in Taurus, to not be mistaken. But there's this in our calendar from the software, we're seeing that it's calling it a station between Jupiter and Saturn. But the closest we can see that is, the sunrise or whatever that was for that day. But it will just move forward, right? For the 6th, we have a lunar Saturnian sextile that we have here on the screen. Luna's there at 7 degrees 8 minutes. That's very interesting how Luna ingressed at 7:08, and now this sextile with Saturn is 7:08, just 10 minutes later, approximately, almost 10 minutes later. I think that's very interesting. Seriously. So again, now we're looking at being able to just, I think it would be best to, probably indulge a little more, thoroughly indulge in finding the values of really knowing and seeing things that are necessary, so that we can be able to, facilitate on a daily, or as really make normal for ourselves and our loved ones, especially our little ones, in knowing the beauty in how things are structured, and by doing so, eventually just our posterity, or the people at large that aren't, in a non-statutory fashion, just be able to have a communication in a early childhood development. Maybe it's an inner childhood development, to be able to really, maybe even at home, find a way of just really structuring a means for the children to be able to have instituted within their daily affairs, studying and comprehending jurisprudence. And with that, I yield the floor. My final aspect before Brother Sean closes out is a lunar Jupiterian trine. Luna is there at 7 degrees Capricorn, 57 minutes within the fourth house, still under Jupiter's dispositorship. So we're even finding a means of really finding the values in joint energy, right? Finding the values in the relationship and expanding on those values in the relationship by, allowing ourselves to treasure the things that we are learning at home and really being able to secure at home also. And really just allow the essentials in being secure at home to really thrive. So just where one could kind of, celebrate those things. And with Luna being trine to who's dispositing for, Mars is dispositing for Jupiter, but Jupiter would still be final dispositor here, technically, right? But Saturn, of course, nonetheless, is co-ruling the fourth house with Jupiter. So I think here's where we find a perfect harmony in making sure we're finding the values in being relatives and relating, and then being able to, that be the foundation and the structure of the essential things within our homes, so to speak, non-statutory homes. And with that, I yield the floor to our beloved brother, whom well please, Brother Sean and Lee Islam.
All right, so let's close it on out. February 7th. We got Sun at 18 degrees Aquarius. All right, the degree of explosiveness. So one might have a mental explosion, maybe some insight. But also for those, who work with gases and all those things, just be sure to make sure everything's cut off, in the service industry or at your shop, just make sure everything's cut off. No gas is leaking or going. Yeah. And it's allow yourselves, or you might have gas, into like explosiveness. What came to mind was like that Dave Chappelle episode when he's on the toilet and he like flew off.
Wow.
So you might eat something this day and be gassy. But yeah, it's a Virgo degree, so could be in your stomach. So it might be something that it's not good to eat, but you're willing to take that risk for how it comes out, right? So with that, I yield the floor.
It's funny, it made me think about when you said explosiveness. First thing came to my mind was that Bhopal gas explosion. I think, what was that, in like the mid 80s, early to mid 80s, I think, near Hindustan, right? Or what they call India, right? Sindhu. All right, I yield, bro.
All right, so looks like we got a lunar Venusian conjunction, sixth house. All right, could be some endings here, from a parent or former relationship. Enjoying some of one's favorite sweets or candies. It's funny. I ain't write nothing for the sunrise, but now I'm saying that it's like, oh yeah. So maybe it's one favorite sweets or candy, that gives them that. But it's good for emotional nurturing, right? Like for me, example, like I like to sometimes, eat some cookies and cream ice cream, for my inner child, uniting or connecting through a political organization that brings loving structure to one's body, your temple, and the home, non-statutory. And with that, I yield. All right, we got Luna, Trine, Uranus next. All right, Luna's
Whoops.
in the fourth.
Hold on.
We done jumped ahead. All right.
Yeah.
Yep, Luna's in the sixth. And let's see, 19 Capricorn, and Uranus is in the 11th. All right, expressing one's view in beauty. Radical changes bring ways to be emotionally fulfilled and independent. A calm of social relationships, who you serve, and those that serve us. Also, breakthroughs for one's soul development and foundation of feelings and, taking risk. All right. Making some changes. And with that, I yield. All right. Blah, blah. Next, we got a Venusian trine Uranus, right? So this is the Venus is, yep, still in the 6th. Uranus in the 10th. So new values, new energies, a change in routine for the work and the career, structured changes via others' resources, and also the realization of one's own inheritance. Huh, I don't know, the sexuality views of older versus younger, occult knowledge, and having change in one's profession for the better. All right, and with that, I yield. Looks like we'll get into the final aspect, I think. Yep. A Mars sextile Uranus. I said Uranus, yeah, Neptune. Yeah, yeah, because I was saying like, oh man, I got a 7th house. It's like I made it all the way through in like the last one. Right. So Mars is at 25 degrees Capricorn in the 5th, Neptune at 25 Pisces in the 7th. So this is starting or finishing creative projects or outlets, taking the lead or letting one's partner lead the way. In ways of like mental foreplay and psychic communication, raising up together spiritually rather than only being trapped in physical bonds and limitations, sexual independence, and health structure of conceiving. So yeah, maybe someone's gonna be able to like get over like not being able to conceive or bear a child. You know, maybe there's like some herbs or um, some kind of exercise and diet to be able to bring that back to liberty and equilibrium. And with that, I yield, bro.
Yes, Mom. I'd like to thank you all for joining us for our 7-day Tropic Medical Astro Weather Report. I see Roz Blackwell says peace. Peace to you also,
Peace.
Roz Blackwell. At least that's what the YouTube handle says. All right. And so with that being said, guys, we would like for questions, comments, and suggestions going once. Brother Sean, you would like to make any comments, suggestions, questions?
Nope, y'all just catch the specials while I got them running, especially for the Saturday meetups. We like, do the astrology twice. We go over civics and pretty much everything we do for free. We go more into depth, especially when someone has a question about some things, so we can, thoroughly explain that. So, grab a buddy and show up. Yeah, and yeah, get your sessions, whether it's astrology or concept correction. Be able to get the guidance and where to look so that you can have the how to kind of alleviate these agencies coming after you, whether it's like a traffic ticket or you're tired of paying the taxes on your house. It's kind of like, did you know that they have it listed as public property? That's why you're paying taxes and you're doing a business opportunity. So learning the how and why to kind of start alleviating and removing yourself from the system. Because we have it all here. So hit us up.
Indeed, Islam. Questions and comments and those suggestions going twice. I would say, guys, remember from our other YouTube channel, which is Astrology Street. If you go and check the playlist section, you'll get to see everything that we've done pertaining to Astrology Street, right? I know I still even, I haven't been advertising on social media lately because I'm just really on some I just kind of just want to do videos, go live, but I could probably just show the videos for Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius on that particular TikTok, I guess, and Instagram. However, this is where Astrology Street came from. Alrighty, my first astrology coloring book, divinely prepared by Hasan, as you guys can see there, right? My first astrology coloring book, right, from EdUp Invoking Publications, as well as the Astro Orcubes that come with it, right? These are the main two, right? This is why it exists. However, this is the teacher edition of the Astro Orcubes that I have here, which are much more than just the student edition, which is just mainly paper. However, also along with that, you get these three that come along with that. Alrighty, you get my Astro Flash Sheets, which is my first 4 years of my study notes that I, personally took myself, as well as from my first workshop that I ever did at House of Reawakening Minds. I make sure that that's there, just something so people can have a piece of, Moorish history, as it's called, right? But of the past recorded, and then something that goes in on the importance of pertaining to nationality, all righty? And with that being said, guys, questions, comments, and or suggestions going thrice. Yes, Brother Sean is correct. Schedule your Mirror Astro Literacy session with Brother Hasan and order your Mental Magician report. Guys, you've exchanged finances for things like Louis Vuitton and Gucci, and they've done nothing for you. You're exchanging quite a bit of finances for your alcohol and, other things that you do. At this point, you should
Jays.
Jays. If you're still taking part in the cannabis, you should be at least at a point where you're considering growing your own cannabis. You know what I mean? But if you're still, spending finances on a KD to an ounce, then, maybe you should consider, what you're doing with your finances in terms of actually, supporting 7HealStar, supporting I and Brother Sean. Since we are spearheading this thing, this is all that we do. We don't punch a clock for anyone else at all. All righty. So this is what we do, and we look forward to doing what it is that we do, and great, because we are great at it. And you guys having an experience of like, man, I should have came to you sooner. We know. It's no need to explain yourself. We just look for you to have that experience. Remember, our Cash Apps will be in the description, accordingly. And if you don't see it in the description for this one, you go to look for it now and just go to the Oprah joint, right? Go and check out what we did when we went in on Oprah on this past Monday that just passed, right? And no, there's no more 7HealStar.com. I mean, if the website is still up, that's only because, GoDaddy didn't totally take it down yet. But, I figured I can put that finances to feeding me and my loved ones instead of feeding GoDaddy. So, you guys can get in contact with us. The number where you can reach me via Google Voice is all over Instagram, 7HealStar Instagram. It's right there in the bio. I'm very old fashioned, because I found myself thriving more when it was just presenting live, giving you my number or my email. That's it. That's all I had to do. Present live on a social media platform, give my number and my email, and then you can sit there and schedule a session. All right. And before Zoom, before I was holding it through Zoom, I was doing these sessions via the phone and just being like, yeah, so that document in your email that you see there, I mean, can you imagine doing a session with me just over the phone? I'm trying to tell you, that's where it got started. Seriously, just doing it over the phone. Brother Tyro says, peace and love, everyone. Peaceful greetings to you, Brother Tyro. All right. So with that being said, guys, this is the part where I and Brother Sean say be yourselves and
show some love. That's what I'm switching up, bro.
Indeed. Make sure you guys send those love gifts to our respective Cash Apps. And like we said, if you just send the one, just please leave a note to go, say share with your brother, right? To whichever one that you send it to. All right. And when you guys go to get your victuals and eat, make sure you're eating something that you enjoy and speak over it, right? So that, it is that which will be converted into helping you and healing you. And when you go to rest and recharge later on this evening, rest and recharge well. On behalf of 7HealStar, I'm Brother Hasan Ghazi Obey. This is our beloved brother whom well pleased, Brother Sean Alim L. On behalf of 7HealStar, also Brother Corey Bay, Brother Terrell Tamari Bay, and Brother R. Muaba Bay. This is where we say to ye all, we love ye all. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, 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 y'all.